Peace. Man, happy now. Now's the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now, matter of fact, right now in the old familiar spot. Matter of fact, by the lakes, LSU. Matter of fact, as I'm speaking on, a familiar spot. Right now, dealing with this Venus retrograde energy. A lot of us, we have this idea that, we could take everybody with us. That somehow we're gonna teach everybody how to become a vegan when we feel they should become a vegan. Like somehow that, again, we could, change people in the essence of like forcefully, like all it takes is me to just say this to them, or if I say this enough, then they'll change, or, things of this nature. But one of the things we're coming to realize right now, one of the themes dealing with this Venus retrograde energy is, again, letting go of relationships that no longer serve us. But in a lot of cases, with that is in that area, because matter of fact, a lot of us as empaths, quote unquote, sensitive to energy, quote unquote, light workers, you know what I'm saying? We wanna help people. We wanna see people grow spiritually, and we wanna see people not suffer from their own negativity, But the reality of the situation is that everybody has to go through their own lessons in order to learn, Just like, when we look at our own self on our spiritual path, we didn't learn things ourselves until we were ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody is a light worker today because somebody forcefully taught us this information. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are what we are because, we became, of course it was already there, in essence, like, in the destiny of it, like, we came here down here as light beings, but, it wasn't because, you studied information, as much as you had to be in tune with yourself. You had to do your own inner spiritual work to get to the place you are spiritually now. It didn't come from somebody forcefully trying to teach you, or forcefully trying to make you a vegan, or forcefully trying to make you deal with crystals. It was your own intrigue and your own curiosity that brought you to people that knew things about this, and you were curious and you asked questions, so you got informed. But it wasn't nobody like, hey, you should work with crystals. You should, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that vibe. And, and for myself right now, dealing with the Venus retrograde energy, that's why I'm back in Louisiana. And I kind of said this before, like, already knowing what I was heading here doing, in essence, is like, well, dealing with my business and things, it's like on that verge of really, I ain't gonna say on the verge, it's expanding substantially, as we speak. And, with that, you got people who, watching, like, like, hey, Universal, growing, this and that, like, let me latch on to his coattail, or just different relationships are gonna, change when you get to that point of your growth, like with your business and things of this nature. Matter of fact, people who once spoke on you being crazy, or the things that you were doing were crazy, is now starting to, come around, and them coming around may not be a genuine coming around, like more so, but I see him gaining popularity through this, so let me just get closer to him, like, and as much as, it may make us cringe to acknowledge that, those relationships exist, or people may be trying to do that, it is what it is, and there's not no vibe of like, well, no, you possibly, of course you have like the vibe of, well, we manifest things with our thoughts, and if I have the negative thought of like, oh, everybody trying to, get close to me and this and that, then yeah, I will manifest that. But there's a difference in, constantly being in that mind frame and not being in that mind frame, but just having the awareness of it, that, hey, just be aware that, some of the people that's gonna come around you is not gonna come in a genuine and authentic manner, so just be aware, and in that way, with awareness, I'm not just constantly, like, I'm always seeing the light and looking to see the light in a person, but always aware that, every single human being is not uniquely vibrating at the same rate or being exactly, dealing with the same energy as me, regardless of the energy that I'm giving off, is still co-creating going on, I'm a manifest, for the most part, energies that coincide with my positivity and my optimism and, my light, but it's just, it's so much going on where, they ain't the only people that's gonna pop up around you. And we constantly interacting with different people, and interacting with different people may, cause, say for instance, something to pop up in the subconscious, or not say pop up in the subconscious, but a certain energy to be activated and present in your subconscious, therefore manifest in a certain situation where you might feel like, well, damn, I didn't do anything to manifest a situation, but not realizing, the energy from somebody else you might have picked up on unknowingly, that's where it gets real about us just being in each other's presence, and with our chakras and stuff, energies be hopping chakras, like, well, some of your little demons might hop on other people, whether it's beneficial energies or unbeneficial energies, but it's all lesson learning regardless. There's no good or bad, if somebody little energies hopped on to you, it's for a reason, but getting back to the main point, with us, again, growing and having to leave some people behind in essence, because also in society got this mind frame that a person, especially with me being from the South, and that family structure of like feeling like we always have to be on top of each other to signify love, and that's, far from the truth, like, I don't have to always be around somebody to show, to have love for them or to show love for them. They had this vibe like, oh, you should be by family, always be by family, and this is the thing too, it is a, how can I say, something that should be valued, family is something that should be valued, but not valuing it, again, not putting tradition over common sense, or not putting tradition over energy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the tradition of things is, of course, we want to stay close to each other as a family, but not letting tradition override energy, because when certain family members are giving off a certain energy that's detrimental to our growth, then, it's not beneficial to ourselves and them to be around them. Because how can I benefit them by allowing myself to fall victim to their negativity? Now I'm in the same boat as them, and now neither one of us could help each other, And that's the whole vibe. Like, we gotta realize, in order to help others, we have to separate. Again, it seems paradoxical in essence, but that's the whole vibe. In order to change the world, I gotta be the change that I want to see, but I cannot be the change I want to see by constantly hanging around old vibrations that don't allow for me to grow to my fullest potential. Like, and if I don't grow to my fullest potential, how could it? Because say for instance, my mom not listening to me, for example, and to a certain extent, well, of course, like, she's not listening to my words as much as she's listening to my lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? And if I'm allowing myself to, well, let me just stay around her, even though I'm not expanding to my fullest, let me just stay around her so I could, like, pet her ego and keep her little her mom ego at ease from just me being around her. But that's just enabling her. Now she's never gonna realize, the true spiritual potential of the God within herself, because I'm enabling her to, still be in that ego of a mom, and, my boy is still around me and this and that, but that's not what it's about, because I'm more beneficial to, her in that situation if I grow and expand to my fullest potential, and then I get on, I start to write these books and getting on TV on a level that, again, which unfortunately, I say unfortunately, quote unquote, but where people will accept, when I get to these certain platforms where people will accept what I'm saying more, but I won't be able to do that by constantly being, under somebody who's not beneficial for my expansion, and I won't, I'll just be hurting both of us by staying in that situation, like, that's why the vibe of like where somebody leaves home and then they get to this certain level and they're able to help now, compared to always being home and never really able to step out, into that place of their true expansion. And that's not for all of us as far as having to leave home. Some of us can expand within the place that we were born in, some of us could expand within the place that our bodysuit was born in, the place where we came down to earth at. So it doesn't directly correlate to just leaving where you're at, but again, just making sure you're not holding on to energy off of tradition or off of, so-and-so say I gotta stick to my neighborhood, or I gotta stick to my to my family, and in all times, even if they're detrimental to me. Like, no, that is furthest from the from the reality of the situation. Of course, society creating that as the social norm, trying to create that into the social norm, but that's not the true reality of the situation. We hinder each other spiritually by being enablers, like being somebody who enables behavior that don't really help people to grow. Like if my mom always gave me money since the day, since I was young, and never really allowed for me to learn how to get it, she would be an enabler, and she would be stopping me from learning the lesson of how to provide. And especially as a male, being masculine, it's beneficial to learn how to provide, and especially learn how to do things at an early age, and not wait till like I'm late, not wait till late to where I get so old, what I'm saying, and which is never too late to grow, but just, and matter of fact, I don't even want to use the word late, but just waiting, further down the line instead of catching it early in the game, and really learning how to take care of myself, if I'm enabled by my mom for too long, then I won't be able to, learn how to take care of my family. It'll be basically my mom taking care of my family instead of me, at that point. And again, if you find yourself you probably waited that late, that's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way you pick that situation for yourself in this earthly realm, you know what I'm saying? And it's about you, learning and growing from going through that situation, But again, we won't be able to save the whole world. We're not going to be able to take everybody with us. We have to grow and expand, and that means a lot of time that some of our relatives, some of our old friends, won't always continuously be at our hip. That's why we start to learn, like, as we grow, we realize that we won't always be buddy with. And when I say buddy, like always together with everybody we grew up with, like, nah, so-and-so might have a kid at a different time from me. So-and-so might go to college. We start to expand and go on our own, growths. And where if we all sitting around together not expanding, and then we all stand on the same level compared to where we all go on our own and expand, and we all able to, take trips here and here and all be bosses and all do the things that we love, and in a sense still kind of get to do like what we did as little, as youngsters, and hang together, because now we done expanded and doing our own thing. And when we find that right timing, quote unquote, we're able to come come together and vibe with each other. But that was through us realizing that we had to grow up and separate and go our own little pathways and do what we gotta do, because we're all uniquely different, just because growing up we all like Wu-Tang Clan, we all jam this kind of music, we all went to this high school, that don't mean we all gonna be doing the same exact things throughout all of our life, And again, the hardest places is those nostalgic areas of, the childhood friends, the close relatives, where we love them dearly, and they know about vegetables, a little bit. They starting to look into it a little bit, and they starting to look into crystals a little bit. So we feel like, all right, maybe if I, harp on crystals a lot harder and harp on, and speak on being a vegan a lot harder, that maybe I could change them into me right now. It's like, no, even though they close, they may not be ready to be on that same exact vibe where they still might be going clubbing and stuff like that. Yeah, they learning, but they doing things that you may not be exactly doing. And again, they on their own path. It's not for us to create little mini-me's. That's where parents get it twisted, where they think they own their children and want to create their like little mini-me's. And that's not, you stopping. And matter of fact, trying to create little mini-me's and all this, you're stopping somebody's expansion, you're stopping somebody's spiritual growth. And to a certain extent, in a small place, you stopping the expansion of the universe, or hindering it, I should say, by trying to create a little mini-me. Like, no, each individual, soul spark came down here for a unique experience, and regardless of coming from the same families, or regardless of us liking some of the same things, we all uniquely different and having a uniquely different experience. And the person who created the air conditioner, the person who created the car, the person who created, the phone, the person who created all these different things wouldn't have created what they created if they were always listening to what everybody who came before them. If they were doing exactly what their parents taught them, exactly what the teachers taught them, then they wouldn't have created the invention. Because, say for instance, the invention wasn't created, so like they wouldn't have created those inventions, because they would have been always like, oh, well, no, I gotta listen to, the conventional norm and not do nothing outside of that. I gotta listen to tradition, and tradition shows that nobody created the air conditioner. Tradition shows that nobody created such an invention, so they wouldn't have never followed their roots, or followed that, their intuition or inner source to create that, if they were listening to, well, mama said, or daddy said that, in tradition of this culture, or tradition of this, we never did this and we shouldn't do this or this and that. It's like, nah, don't let tradition override your inner source, your inner voice, But tradition showed that, as a black person, I gotta hate white person. Tradition shows as a white person, I gotta hate black people. Tradition shows as a Catholic, I gotta hate atheists. Or tradition shows as an atheist, But when your heart, deep down in your heart, you don't really feel that vibe is really true. Where you really just kind of go with the flow of what you're taught, not really acknowledging your soul and your spirit in that sense. So, you got to be careful with that. And again, we can't forcefully take everybody with us. Everybody's at, in a different place in life and on their own growth. And the reality is that we came down here to resonate. We're going to resonate with the people who are, expanding and growing at the same rate as us. You know what I'm saying? Like, the reality of the situation is that, a caterpillar can't fly as good as a butterfly, and a butterfly can't crawl as good as a caterpillar. Of course, they could cross each other's paths from time to time, and of course, they don't hate each other because they're different, but they're made different, so they're gonna do different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, the caterpillar is not gonna always be talking about how beautiful it is. A caterpillar is not gonna be talking about how beautiful it is to fly, and how, and how the top of a tree look. you know what I'm saying, and how, you know, its mirror, you know, and how it feels to fly over water, you know, like that. A caterpillar won't be able to, you know, talk on that experience. So, you know, when a caterpillar and a butterfly, you know, come together in essence, or should I say, dealing with conversation, you know, that's a caterpillar. How can I say this without, you know, throwing it into the ego vibe? Because again, that's that mind frame we have of feeling like, oh, well, I'm leaving somebody behind, or I'm harming somebody by being myself. Like, no, you know, again, as you expand as a butterfly, let me start this over again. Like, as you expand as a butterfly, now, you know, you're going to be able to, you know, see the top of trees, you know, see different, you got a different perception now because you're flying, you know, you're not always seeing things from a ground level. And being at a ground level is nor good or bad, you know, it's just a different perspective. And you enjoying your wings and you enjoying flying is not a bad thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should enjoy your flying, you know. And a caterpillar is at where is that for a reason, you know. A caterpillar is not flying yet because it's not ready to fly yet, you know. It hasn't went into that cocoon stage, and when it's ready, it will go, you know. And neither one of them are better than the other, you know. Because matter of fact, a lot of times it's good to have a perspective from the ground, or be able to, you know, have so many legs, you know. There's a benefit from that, just like it's a different benefit from having wings, you know. Again, neither one is better than the other, just different. And you gotta you know, respect your difference, and respect and have reverence for each other's differences without hating or disliking each other. You know, you don't have to hate or dislike each other, and you don't have to feel like one is leaving the other one behind. It's like, no, like, you're growing, and now it's time for you to, you know, you're gonna connect with other butterflies, you know. And when it's time, you know, that partner that hadn't become a butterfly when you was becoming one, you know, you'll be flying around one day, and then you just, oh man, I ain't seen a minute, bro. You flying too? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna come across them flying, you know. Like, compared to where, you know, they would never want to become a say for as a caterpillar, never want to become a butterfly, because you as a butterfly always coming back and like let them know, well, yeah, this is, you know, how flying feels, and I do this flying and do that flying. And again, not that you wouldn't want to share your experience with them, but again, if sharing your experience with them, they may fall into a place of being content of like, well, you know what, shit, I always get to find out how it feels to fly, so I don't need to really worry about flying, because I got a partner that could fly, could always tell me what's going on flying. So you know what, I ain't even worried about becoming no butterfly. I'm not worried about getting into no cocoon and transforming, you know, because I got my friend. And, you know, and then that's where, again, that's that social norm, that's that insane vibration that becomes the social norm. Because then, you know, as a butterfly, the butterfly energy getting sucked up, because now he gotta constantly, you know, make sure he go and sit for hours of time and trying to, you know, in essence, make his caterpillar friend a butterfly, you know. And it's, you know, it just doesn't work like that. You know, you're gonna have different experiences, and nothing is wrong with expanding, nothing is wrong with growing, you know. And matter of fact, you know, as a friend, you know, and that's where you start to see anybody that's trying to stop you from becoming that butterfly, you know, they're not beneficial to be around, because somebody that truly love you would never try to hinder you from living the life that you love. People who love you want to see you live the life that you love, even if that mean not be around them. You know, just like some relationships, you know, some of us may have did that in relationships in the past, where we just knew, like, you know what, bro, I ain't, you know, I'm not good for this person, you know, or this and that. Like, bro, I should just let this person go and let them expand, you know, and live their life, you know, instead of hindering that person. You know, I'd rather see that person living the life that they love instead of me getting the benefit of being around them, and stopping them from doing what they love. Like, at the end of the day, I would feel way much better seeing that person live the life they love, even though they're away from it, than being around them all the time, but them not living the life they love. I'd rather see that person expand and live the life that they love, instead of them being miserable, always being around me, Where even though they faking it and trying their best to hold a smile and, be around me, I know that they really want to expand and grow, So, the feeling, that vibe again. Anybody that's, trying to stop you from becoming your greatest version, but claiming to be your friend is not truly your friend. Because, somebody who really, really, understand would understand themselves. Like, well, shit, if I was on my spiritual growth, I would want to be doing what I love and wouldn't want nobody to hinder me. So I definitely would want that for my friend, you know what I'm saying? So, and be real with you, that's like clockwork. So anybody that feels otherwise, you know what I'm saying? Like, they may be unbeneficial to you spiritually, and they may be unbeneficial to your spiritual growth, Because here it is, where the world, missing out on all these fabulous books, all this fabulous artwork, all this fabulous, things that you came down here to create and bring to the world. The world missing out on that as long as you still trying to hold on to past parts of yourself that no longer serve you. And because you're holding on to these past parts of yourself internally, it manifests externally into, old family members that you may still be hanging around that no longer serve you. Old, friends that you still trying to hold on to but no longer serve your spiritual growth. And again, we've been taught that the social norm is, if my friend's sick or if my friend's sad, instead of maintaining a cheerful mind frame like society teaches, if my friend's sad, then I should become sad too to make them feel better. So I should dim my light and make myself feel bad so they could feel good about themselves. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? I'll keep my light bright so that I could shine the light and help them to become positive, you know what I'm saying? And if they don't want to come and connect with me on that positive vibe, then I just gotta leave them where they at. And they gotta just sit in their doo-doo enough, sit in their own little pile of negativity long enough to where they realize, well, like, damn, maybe I should do something about it, compared to where, if you become an enabler and you like somebody always being negative and you try to, go around them even when like they're not really trying to, grow, but just gonna eat up off of your energy, But just right now is the time to, again, we can't take everybody with us. And as I'm saying this, again, I always tell people, a lot of my videos, I'm working with this myself. We all going through this, in essence. Some of us, have more work to do than others. As far as like some of us have, already been severing the cords that we need to sever. Some of us, still in the midst of, severing some cords. But, it's no race, it's no rush, just operate in the now to the best of your ability. That's the perfect pace. Operating in your now, like operating right now to the best of your ability. Your inner source will have no problem with that, as long as you're doing the best to your ability within your now. Because that's all you have and that's all you can do. So, yeah, and with this relationship vibe, this is hindering relationships of all sorts. Again, like for me, how I deal with my herb smoke. You know what I'm saying? Is my relationship with herb smoke hindering or beneficial? It does it. Can it be modified? Will herb cooperate with me? And matter of fact, since herb is not a human being, like, well, herb has opinions and a consciousness. I don't really have to, depend on the herb to come to a certain agreement. It's all on me. On like, well, all right, can I critique this relationship? You know what I'm saying? Could I bring this relationship with Herb to a place of being beneficial, or do I have to just leave Herb alone completely? But it's again a reflection, because when a planet is in retrograde, it's kind of having like a reflection energy, or reflective energy dealing with the energies of that planet, and one of the things that Venus deal with is relationships, I should say. And it's not just relationships with people, but relationships with all aspects, relationships with our inner self on all levels. Which ones are beneficial, which ones are hindering. It's as simple as, does this person, place, or thing bring light and energy every time I have an experience with this person, place, or thing? Or does this person, place, or thing bring me down whenever I interact with it? You know what I'm saying? And it's just straight point blank period. Because some of us be like, yeah, it's hindering, but it's my mama, but it's my little cousin, or but that's my friend since kindergarten. Well, put it like this, you have that one chance of, again, letting a person know how you operate. But honestly, if you still dealing with that person not, not being beneficial to you on an energetic level, then then they're not beneficial to you. You gotta leave them behind. It is what it is. No point blank. But that's basically it. You just really want to expand on that, because a lot of us again have trouble with that area. How many times I get people asking me, man, my parents, some Bible thumpers, this and that, man, they be doing this or doing that. What should I do? Like, man, time for you to move around. You know what I'm saying? Like, simple. But again, it's that egotistical part of us too, that's kind of disconnected from our higher self and inner source, that's scared to take that leap into moving away from these people, feeling like, oh man, well, how I'm gonna be able to manifest another house or another this or another that. You gotta trust that if this situation is no longer serving you, source is showing you this so you could expand and move around. But you gotta trust that your inner source is gonna take care of you as you moving away from that situation. And again, that comes with healthy eating and meditation, two of the main things. And meditation is something that, again, I don't try to scare people into like meditation is something you should take seriously. But honestly though, because we've been in the habit of being in our thoughts for most of our lives, and some of us, been on earth for a long time, so that means like most of your years existing, you've been dealing with energy in a negative way. So that means you got to take your time dealing with energy in a positive light. And that means, doing it a lot, repetitiously. Matter of fact, go check out my videos on subconscious, the subconscious mind and how to program it and how that works, it's through repetition and through habit, It doesn't just happen overnight. You don't just go from years of being unhealthy and having a beer belly and having, either being overweight or too skinny, say for instance, and you like, all right, I'm gonna go to the weight room, and then you expect to lift a weight one time, and then all of a sudden just get the desired look that you're looking for. All of a sudden you get the muscles you was looking for. All of a sudden you lose the weight you was looking to lose just by doing it once. Like, nah, you got to keep putting in work if you want to really see the change. And speaking with meditation, the most important part of our day is, the beginning and end. So, starting off meditation, like as soon as you wake up, the best way possible of like, sitting there and meditate. In most cases, we be lying to ourselves with these excuses. What if this should happen? And what if this in the morning? Or what if... Then you got to wake up earlier, because some people like, but I got to do this. then, you know, maybe source is asking you to show how much you really care about it, to really, you know, wake up earlier or this and that. Because here it is, a lot of us act like we cannot take 10 minutes out of 24 hours, you know, within a day to show love to our higher self and show love to the God within ourselves that always been taking care of us since we came down here, you know, since the beginning of existence, in which there's no beginning of existence. So eternally we've been taken care of by this energy, but yet we don't want to give 10 minutes of our time to dealing with this energy, you know, and expanding with this energy. So you reap what you sow. If meditation is that hard for you to do, then you get a life that's, you know, that hard in essence, you know, like you reap what you sow. Exactly. But that's basically it, y'all. Gotta let go, man. We can't bring everybody with us, man. As much as, you know, matter of fact, with the hood vibes, you know, man, I'm gonna take my hood with me. I'm gonna take my whole, and you hear all the, you know, all the entertainers, all the, you know, brothers speak on it, like, man, you cannot, you know, because some people just don't, you know, just don't get it and not ready to get it at certain moments. So you cannot, you know, again, turn everybody into you when you're ready to turn them into you. You know, that's not what they came down here for. You know what I'm saying? You know, nobody came down here to be little universal frequencies. You know what I'm saying? Everybody came down here to, of course, you may use some of this spiritual information to your benefit on your spiritual growth, but it's not for you to try to be exactly like me, you know, to be a little universal. It's like, nah, you know, you may, just like how some people may inspire us. Of course, you know, like, say, for instance, I was inspired by Infinite Waters, and I saw, like, all right, I like his little intro, so I want to have, like, a certain type of little intro tag. But it wasn't to be exactly like Infinite Waters, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did my own little thing. Like, now it's the vibrate. You know, not too far in the future, not too far in the past, you know. My own uniqueness. Of course, I was inspired by, you know, Infinite Waters, but at the same time, I know I'm here to be uniquely universal frequencies, you know. Matter of fact, shout out to the brethren, Ralph Smart, man. Love that brethren, man. Blessings to see him on his expansion. Because I remember watching his videos in the early days as well, you know. Seeing his growth, so that's beautiful. But yeah, y'all, you know, can't, you know, it's not our job to forcefully change the world from outside of us, you know, to try to feel like I could forcefully turn somebody into a spiritual being just by trying to forcefully tell them about the flower of life and crystals, this and that. Like, nah, you know, they gonna be ready when they're ready, just like we all was ready when we were ready, you know. Like I tell people, when I was drinking 40 ounces and doing my thing, you know what I'm saying, nobody could have came up to me and be like, hey, you know, you got to learn about these crystals and you better meditate, you better do this. Like, man, you better get the from out of my face. Like, that's what I would have told somebody with that vibe, you know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't ready in that stage. I was still going through what I had to go through, you know what I'm saying, to get my little lesson in my little journey, you know. And that's like that for all of us, you know. You gotta let people learn their own little lessons. Be the change we want to see, you know. Matter of fact, if we want to help them so much, you know, the closest we could be that being hands-on with them is in visualizing them, and visualize seeing them living the life that they, you know, that they truly love, you know. If you, matter of fact, if you done talk to them enough, or, you know, or you could just feel like what they really love in life, or just see, you know, and visualizing them enjoying life, or, you know, and if you're not visualizing, seeing them doing what they love, but, you know, sending them that energy, you know, in that manner. But again, you know, you won't change nobody, you know, with just trying to forcefully change somebody, you know, it's not gonna happen. I digress. Peace, even though you can't see the peace. Happy now, of course. Now's the vibrate. Not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now. Peace.